Greetings, RoomKeyPMS users. In this next session, we'll go through creating a cancellation policy. In RoomKey, it is possible to create multiple kinds of policies in the PMS. You could be attaching a policy to a room type, a different policy to a client type, and yet another policy to a rate plan. Today's session, we are going to focus on making the particular policy we create into the default for the property. So let's get started. We'll go up to System Configuration, to Policy. Okay, and you can see I have a number of policies already in here. I'm going to hit Add to select a new one. And just remember, this verbiage doesn't see the client, so we can keep it simple. Okay, next we can come over here to the active checkbox. We want to ensure this is checked. Next, the default for the property. So in this case, I want this policy to be the default. And also for online booking, we can check this box if the policy being created will be used as the default for the eRes booking engine. This only applies to the eRes booking engine and not third-party products like GDS, Quick Connects, or channel managers. So keep that in mind when creating this. So I'm going to check that box as well. The guarantee. So the guarantee, we need to select an option depending on whether a credit card is necessary to guarantee a guest reservation. And in this case, I definitely want to have my front desk staff take a credit card at the time of booking. So we're going to guarantee this. All right. Next is the deposit. We need to select an option based on whether a deposit is required to be paid at the time of booking. So in this case, yes, it's going to be. So then we have a number of selections that the deposit is going to be based on. So I'm going to choose my deposit is required. And then what is it based on? Is it based on the number of nights? So example value would be for one night, or two for 2 nights, etc. So the next option could be percentage of the stay. So percentage of the stay charge, an example would be 25 for 25% or 100 for 100%. The fixed amount could be 100 or 150. So you don't need to populate it. So for example, I'm going to put in 100. I don't need to put the percentage sign in. If it's a fixed amount of 100, I don't need to put the dollar sign in. Keep it real simple back here, okay? And I believe RoomKey will let you know that if it didn't like the information you entered, you may just get an error. Okay, so let's continue on. Let's see what else we have in here. Of course, the first night's room charge and guest service would be just that. And of course, your first night room charge. Perhaps your first night room charge is more expensive than the rest of the days. So just keeping that in mind. In this case, I'm going to choose number of night charges. So well, how many nights? It's going to be based on 1 night. So right now, my cancellation policy, I need a credit card. I'm going to take a deposit, and it's going to be for 1 night room and tax. All right. Next, we're going to choose the cancellation. So is there going to be a penalty charge? We need to select an option depending on whether or not a penalty is charged when a guest cancels their reservation. If yes, then we're going to select the number of hours prior to arrival that the guest is able to cancel without penalty. So for my property, I have a 48-hour window of penalty. So if you were to cancel within 48 hours of your arrival date and that time is actually based on check-in. So 48 hours from check-in time, your official check-in time, that's in RoomKeyPMS, it's going to be pulling from that. That is your window of penalty. So in this case, I'm going to choose penalty is charged. And of course, you get to select what that's based on again. So is it based on number of night charges? Is it based on the percentage of the stay, or is it based on a fixed amount? Okay, so for my option here, I'm going to choose number of night charges, and I'm going to make it 1. But I'm going to change this to 48. So, oops, populate that once again. So right now, my check-in time is at 3 p.m. If anyone was to cancel within 48 hours from that 3 p.m. arrival time, my cancellation policy will activate upon hitting the cancellation button. Okay, let's just come down here. So this area here is really just for the online booking. So our booking engine clients out there, those of you using eRes, this is where you can set your default for your online booking. And we've selected the checkbox up here stating that. So we're going to say penalty is charged. I'm going to make it the same as what I have up here to reflect exactly what's going on in my hotel. I may have a smaller window of penalty on my website, but just remember, you can only have one default for your online booking. Okay, one policy that covers online booking. So I'm going to put in my 48 hours and we'll put in 1. All right, so when I hit OK, you'll see the policy text populates. It's a little robotic. So of course, we want to make sure it's nice and flowery for our guests. So let's go up and edit. Of course, making your active room key arrow point at the policy that you're doing work on, and you'll see the information displays below. I'm going to edit. Okay, and I'm going to wipe this out. And let's put in our policy text. I already had something ready to go there. So once I've populated that, a deposit of 1 night's room and tax is required to guarantee the reservation. Any cancellations within 48 hours of arrival will result in the deposit not being returned. Thank you. So once you are happy with that verbiage, you can come up here and hit OK. And that's all there is to creating a default policy for your property. I hope that helped, and thanks for watching.